but there was one question because I've read the series maybe 10 times already, and
Wow.
every time I read it, I always find something different, insightful, and new about the series. And you talk about blockchains outside of Bitcoin being used on other planets such as Mars, terraforming, things of that nature.
Hmm.
And in your article, you state that faraway colonies will start to trade and value Bitcoin. They'll still consider Bitcoin something that's valuable, even if they use a different type of blockchain. Where do you foresee multi-signature custody importance on human expansion into the future? So, like, do you think that multi-sig will be something that people will use even when they go to other planets?
Yeah, that's very cool. So like again, one of the things multi-sig, I think, yeah, the short answer is yeah, multi-sig is not going anywhere for all the reasons that I talked about. Collaboration is a great way to create redundancy, to create social controls within a financial structure, and as long as human beings are individuals with conflicting, ambitions and goals. There's going to be conflict. There's going to be adversarial behavior, and these kinds of structures are very beneficial. So, like, that's the short answer. Yes. But I think there's some coolness to it when you think about like the scale, right, of space, and that's that whole series just playing with the idea of how cool is it that space is so big, and how does that affect everyday things in our life, like in this case money, which by the time that the series kicks off is an everyday thing. Bitcoin is money, and it's an everyday part of life, and that's just how it is. We're still on Earth in the beginning of the series, but that's just how it is. So I think the other thing that multi-sig brings you in collaboration brings you geographical separation and redundancy, right? Like if you're in a multi-sig scenario, but all your keys are in your house in your bedside drawer, you're not really doing multi-sig, right? It's single sig with more steps at this point. So multi-sig allows you to take those keys and to separate them. You give one to a family member, or you keep one at the bank, you keep one in your office. Unchained has one in the locations that we use. Over time, honestly, something that makes me feel very safe at Unchained, both as a client and as an operator at Unchained, is the fact that instead of Coinbase having to guard like a few special keys that control all that money and who knows where they are, there's like 3 of them or 5 of them, however many keys they have in their multi-sig quorum. Unchained is protected by thousands of keys, and they're spread out all across the planet, and they're held by many thousands of parties, ourselves and our clients. That's a very cool idea, to separate out and distribute, right, that security risk across a larger group of people. In the context of space, you have so much more space, right, to distribute those keys. And I think it's very interesting to imagine wanting to keep Bitcoin safe on Earth by spreading keys out to other locations in the solar system, right? So no one can it's more challenging to do simultaneous attacks on this wallet if the keys are on, let's say, Pluto, Mars, and Earth, or something like that, just to name some ideas here. So that's kind of a cool idea. I also think that in later parts of the series, I talk about larger scale blockchains. So Bitcoin kind of being a very planet-sized blockchain, it turns out, that's very, of course, very suitable for Earth, as we're experiencing already today, but will turn out not to really be able to reach in some way other planets. I think you're right. I do believe that Bitcoin will be useful and usable by anybody almost anywhere, but you won't be able to mine Bitcoin very far from Earth, and that will restrict how useful it can be, and people will create new Bitcoin-like things. Like Bitcoin initially, they'll be the size of planet. They'll be like Bitcoin in scale, so they'll also be sort of planetary, and they'll themselves be restricted. But I eventually speculate about larger blockchains than Bitcoin. I call one of them Solcoin, so it'll have like a blockchain of like, I don't know, 30 days, and this implies something about it'll be able to be mined anywhere in the solar system. And in this sense, it's a very large abstract object, right? So something that's designed to be the size of the solar system. If Bitcoin is designed to be the size of about 10 10 light minutes, which of course is the link here, which I skipped over. I'm realizing block time and size of these systems. But in a system like that, in a Solcoin or beyond, when they get even larger, they get more valuable, right? Like Bitcoin is very valuable. We conjecture here on Earth today because it's 1/21 millionth of everything, right? But that's only everything on Earth. Like eventually, if wealth starts to accumulate in these larger blockchains, then most of the solar system's wealth will accumulate there. And the solar system will net have more wealth because it'll be producing and using more and more energy. As a result, just the energy scales and the economic scales of these larger blockchains are just even larger than what Bitcoin purports to be in the far future of Earth. It's literally astronomically larger. So in that context, you get to the place where you can't afford to keep your keys even on one planet. You need to spread them out, right? Because a planet could always blow up. Planets, come and go on the scale, on this kind of a time scale. How do you protect, money to last for millions or billions of years, in the face of potential, total war between advanced future societies? Like, it seems to me like if there's such a concept as money in those future societies, which I think there will be, and adversarial behavior still exists and cryptography still exists, like you're going to be using something like Bitcoin, and you're going to be using something like Multisig, but you're going to be spreading the keys out way further than, New York, LA, right? It's going to be all around the solar system. So I think that's a very cool insight. There's one more. I don't know how much further I should take. I'll say one more thing, because I know that you like this stuff, and then maybe we'll leave at the topic. But I think finally, in the context of collaboration, like there's a third part in the series which talks about aliens and their usage of blockchain and Bitcoin and whatever. And I think there's a cool conceit there that the alien coins could be the most valuable of all, like even more valuable than anything human beings have ever made, because they could be the secret. If we could earn, for example, alien coins, we could spend them in alien markets to, I don't know, learn alien things, whatever the alien things are that we would want to learn. Presumably they're more advanced than we are, and those are very valuable things to learn. How would we earn their coin? We would earn their coin by mining. How would we mine? We'd be in a pool. How would we get paid out by that pool? Surely we would pick Multisig. No one person would be in charge of receiving the super valuable alien coin and being able to spend it on whatever the hell they wanted. We would ensure that some coalition of keys received this coin, so that politically it could be used. We could ensure that it's used in the right ways. So I just think, like, the scale of these speculations leads to lots of fun opportunities for the concept of multisig to kind of continue propping up over and over again.